Well, hello there, good people. Hi, I'm Jason with Green Country Agroforestry. The sweltering temperatures that we have out during the daytime might make it seem like summer is still around, but with the temperatures plunging down into the low 60s at night, well, it's a sure bet that fall is right around the corner. And it's time for me to start on the fall garden. Before I get to that, we're going to do a little bit of harvesting, and we're going to begin with amaranth. Amaranth has been grown in the Americas for thousands of years. It's a pseudo-cereal, which means although the seed that the amaranth plant produces is treated like a grain, it's actually a flower. Quite pretty one too. Now this is a small example. I've got more amaranth over here behind me, which is much larger. The average production in seeds for these is about a pound per plant. The seeds can be collected and grown as microgreens over the winter, or you can sow them later on, pop them as popcorn, grind them up and use them as an addition to bread making, and a whole host of other applications. Let me tell you a little bit about the gear that I'm using to do our harvest today. I'm wearing gloves because the seed heads are sharp and can poke your fingers a little bit. I'm also using this. It's a rice knife or hand sickle, and another piece of specialized equipment, a kiddie pool. Of course, you don't have to have a kiddie pool to do this. I just happen to have one, and I like the fact that it's big and broad. When it comes to winnowing or separating the dry flower part from the seed, it's very convenient. You can use a tub, or if you want to go a little bit more traditional, a woven basket for separating the flower from the seed. Now we're going to start out just by cutting off the main stalk, and I'm going to go ahead and trim off some of the greens here. At this late stage in the game, these greens are probably not that tasty. Young tender greens are good to eat. Whenever they get a bit older, they get bitter. Now the flowers haven't quite dried yet, so we're just going to go ahead and throw them into the tub for right now and let them finish drying. This big thick stalk has an equally large and robust root system, but once the plant's done, it's easy enough to pull out, well, the bulk of it. There we go. In the course of cutting these down, I've managed to sow the seeds for next year's crop. Well, there you go. Have a good look at that thick taproot. These roots go down deep into the soil looking for phosphorus, and they bring it up. And whenever you chop and drop this plant, you add that phosphorus back to the top layer of soil. This will go ahead and decompose throughout the winter and make fertilizer for the plants come springtime, especially if I'm prudent enough to add another little layer of mulch after we're done here. Now that I have all these flower heads harvested, it's time to take them into the garage, under the carport, let them dry out. And the fall harvest continues. You can see just above my head over here, there's a pear that got a little wasp digging into the side of it. And that's a pretty good indication that that pear is ripe. That wasp is after the sweet juice inside the pear. I mean, that's what wasps like to eat, juice, nectar. You could have bees out here too working on them. If they had already fallen from the tree, there would be pears laying on the ground around my feet. There would be bees and wasps all over them trying to get at that nectar. But that's another indicator that that fruit is ready to pick. So we're going to go ahead and get that one down and a few of the other ones too. Come on. I want you to move along, buddy. Move along. Time for me to pick my pears. There we go. Alright. Have a look at that yellow appearance to the flesh there. That's another indication. This pear, it's ripe and ready to eat. Now perhaps in the next year or so we'll have a cider press, and I can start pressing pears for cider. The pears have a tendency to come ripe pretty much all around the same time, within a week or two of each other, and that makes harvesting them for fresh fruit somewhat problematic. I can grow indeterminate tomato vines and intersperse those amongst the hazelnut trees and other perennials in my 7-layer food forest over here. And I can grow ever-bearing strawberries or blueberries and things of that nature, and those won't all necessarily all come on at the same time. But the pears, they're pretty much, you have to eat them while they're still fresh and ready to eat. Isn't that sweet? Okay, now that the main stems have been separated and we have small clumps of flowers, we just want to mash those up really well. And wearing the gloves helps because dried flower bits are sharp. And just mash them up, just rub them between our hands until there's no part of the whole flower left. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to do. And there you have it, good people. That's processing the elephant trunk amaranth. We've got our seeds. Those are ready for starting into microgreens over the winter. And, well, I hope you found this video informative or entertaining. If you did, you know what to do. I'll catch you next time.